Hi everyone. Do you have the habit of reading? Reading novels? Have you read Amish Tripathi, Shiva trilogy, or maybe Chetan Bhagat? You must have watched the movies though. These are all people categorized as popular fiction. Popular fiction is a very important genre in literature these days. Earlier on, we never used to talk about such writers. Shobha De, another example. But today, after the coming of cultural studies, popular fiction has become a very important genre. What is popular fiction? It is not fiction that is popular though. Popular fiction is not high literature. It is more commercial. We can also call it genre fiction, commercial fiction, or sometimes formula fiction. It is like commercial movies. Popular fiction means it reaches out to a broader audience. Anybody can read it, not only students of English literature. It is sold widely. You will read it in airports, while you're traveling, etc. And it is also like use and throw. Even though you should not throw books, it is like use and throw, disposable. So it is hard to put down also. Once you take it, you cannot put it down. In the romance genre, you might have read Milton Boone or Sidney Sheldon. Oh, once you start reading it, you can't stop reading it. It's like that. In children's literature also, we had Nancy Drew, Hardy Boys. Not literature, but popular fiction. So, what are the characteristics of popular fiction? It is usually written in easy, clear language. It will have fast-moving plots. And genres will be very familiar, like romance, adventure, mystery, horror. Nowadays, popular fiction has turned into web series. Most of the trash web series that we all binge watch are contemporary versions of popular fiction. Sometimes it can have sci-fi or fantasy, it can be thrillers, etc. Now, we all know that popular fiction puts entertainment first. There is no learning or anything there mostly. It will have mass circulation, so it is all meant at profit making, selling more copies and making profit, right? But it is important. We have to talk about it. We have to study popular fiction for the reason that that is what shapes everyday culture. Today, with the coming of cultural studies, we talk about the everyday as a theoretical concept. Everyday culture is important. How we share ideas and feelings and myths, that is very important. And many of these are coming to us as screen adaptations also, because most of the popular fiction novels become movies or web series. But one thing is also there. Even though not directly, many popular fiction novels deal with serious issues. For example, relationships and marriage. That is certainly a very serious issue. And popular fiction, as well as soap operas or TV serials, they are all discussing these issues and also shaping our perception. Maybe not always in the right manner, but you can't help it. Do we all do things right always? No, right. So, popular fiction, TV serials, mass opera, mass culture, these are all brought under academic scrutiny from the 1960s onwards by the CCCS, or the Center for Contemporary Cultural Studies at the University of Birmingham, and other people. Now, I want to tell you a little history of popular fiction. Okay, popular fiction began with print culture. When did print culture come into being? In the time of the Renaissance, right? In the 15th century, when printing by movable type was invented, there was a democratization of print medium. Everybody began to write. In those days, 16th, 17th centuries, there were chap books. Chap books are cheap printed books that people could buy for a small price. Okay, broadsides, pamphlets, chap books, these are all early versions of popular fiction. And then from the 18th century onwards, serialized publication of novels started. Serialization of novels started. You know that in British literature, a lot of the early writers serially published their works. The most famous serial publication was that of Charles Dickens, maybe, So many people read his novels still from the 19th century till today. He is a very popular writer, and also he has contributed to the genre of popular fiction. One important thing in the history of popular fiction, my dear friends, was the coming of circulating libraries. When I was a student, circulating libraries played a very important role. But today, because of technology and globalization, we just download PDF of books. We just do reading online. We read e-books or we listen to audiobooks, right? Circulating libraries are not the in thing anymore. But in the 1740s in Britain, circulating libraries started, and in the 19th century, it became very common. That is how popular fiction actually flourished. In the 19th century, there were genres like gothic novels, sentimental novels that became exceedingly popular. And printing and publishing became an industry. There was a mass market during the industrial age for literature. Because of the availability of cheap paper, because of fast printing, obviously. There were also some genres called penny dreadfuls that nobody wanted to read. The respectable people did not want to read. And the counterpart of that in America was dime novels. It was very bad in literature. In Malayalam, we used to say Ma Prasidhikarnangal. Ma Prasidhikarnangal, that means bad. That was the lower strata of popular fiction. Today, we don't have all that because the internet has changed everything. Technologization of literature has changed everything. Genres have changed. Today, detective fiction, romance, horror, fantasy, these are all respectable genres. Another milestone in popular fiction was the discovery of paperbacks. Paperback revolutionized distribution because anybody could buy books then, because books became cheap. And also pocket versions. You could carry them in a bag, you could carry them anywhere, they were portable, affordable. That was a milestone in the history of popular fiction. Now, today we have, there are many categories like young adult fiction, teen fiction, tween fiction, isn't it? So those are all modern developments within popular fiction. If I am a student of English literature, so I have to tell you some of the classics of English literature that have contributed to popular fiction. I have already mentioned Charles Dickens. He was the first most popular writer of Britain. And then there is, of course, Arthur Conan Doyle, the doctor who wrote about Sherlock Holmes. He is the one who actually brought in a taste for detective fiction. After that, Agatha Christie, many people began to write detective fiction. And also horror fiction became so popular because of, I guess, Bram Stoker, the author of Dracula. Today, we all binge watch fantasy movies, isn't it? Lord of the Rings by J.R.R. Tolkien was one of the first of that kind. C.S. Lewis, Chronicles of Narnia, and then came Harry Potter, J.K. Rowling. That is another genre within popular fiction. And then science fiction, guys. Who doesn't like science fiction? I just love it. I'm sure all of you are even, greater fans of science fiction and what we call it now, post-apocalyptic fiction. Isaac Asimov, Ray Bradbury, Arthur Adamov, Philip K. Dick. Many great writers were there who started the genre. And Stephen King, the biggest science fiction writer in America, I guess. Stephen King. So this is about literature. Now, this video is not only about literature, it is about the theory of popular fiction. We have the theory of high culture and low culture. Popular fiction comes in low culture. People like Matthew Arnold, F.R. Lewis, even T.S. Eliot, they all upheld high culture. Okay? Coming of cultural studies changed the scenario totally. Popular culture, low culture became accepted. So today, popular fiction is also accepted, isn't it? There were many people who attacked popular fiction, who attacked low culture. Among them, very prominent is the Frankfurt School. Adorno. Have you heard of Theodor Adorno? Max Horkheimer. They are very important figures in Frankfurt School who condemned popular culture as culture industry. They did not like it that popular fiction or popular culture is formulaic. That means standardized, profit driven, not teaching anything, just keeping people preoccupied, passive. So Herbert Marcuse, Theodore Adorno, Walter Benjamin, all of them were against these ideas. The breakthrough came with Raymond Williams, a very key figure in cultural studies. He rejected this high and low idea, and he said that culture is there in everyday life. Culture is ordinary. Culture is there in everything that people do. So the ways in which we enjoy our leisure time, the ways in which we make money, the ways in which we make food, the ways in which we hang out with friends, everything becomes important because of Raymond Williams. Another stalwart in culture studies is Stuart Hall. Stuart Hall talked about everything as equal. You know, you just have to look at how texts, whether they are high literature or popular culture, popular fiction, whatever it is, you have to look at how meanings are encoded and how readers decode them. In culture studies, we also have subculture, counterculture. These are all ideas that have contributed positively to popular fiction studies. In culture studies, there is Janice Radway. She is the lady who read romance literature and developed a theory of romance. She studied women who loved romance novels and found that romance is a means of bringing comfort to women. It's a means of giving an escape route to women, an escape route to women. It is a form of resistance. Reading romance is a form of resistance. How romance played a role in the everyday life of women. Isn't that wonderful? When we talk about popular culture, we have to also think of television studies, because television is the new form of popular culture, and television soap operas also became a battleground of meanings, studied by John Firth, John Story, many people like that. So today, popular culture is accepted, and we even take it forward into fandom studies. A lot of you must have already heard about it. You might also have done work on it, because fans are not just reading or watching, they are creating, they are participating. Fan culture is a participatory culture. It is not just one-way culture where the author writes and the readers are at the receiving end. Not like that. So fans are also writing fiction. You know, that is called fan fiction. So this is now becoming more complex, isn't it? In this context, genre is redefined as a social contract. It is like a promise. A genre in popular fiction is like a promise between the reader and the writer, isn't it? It is not just, I want to express myself, I have some ideas, I want to write about them. Literature is no longer written like that. Popular fiction does not work like that. Like a movie. Think of a blockbuster movie. When that movie comes, that movie is a promise from the filmmakers and the actors to the audience, isn't it? We expect something. We need them to give us that. We are not going there to see the self-expression of the director or the author, isn't it? That's a beautiful concept, a two-way give and take concept. So when you read popular fiction, you have to look into reader response theories. Have you heard of that? Reader response theories is about how the reader makes meanings. Here we talk about reception studies. Wolfgang Iser, Hans Robert Jauss, so many writers are thinkers, are there, theorists are there. And there is also a certain interdisciplinarity to popular fiction. We can call it intermediality because they don't stay in one media. As soon as I start talking about one popular fiction or popular novel, I have to think about movies, isn't it? I have to think about web series, isn't it? Because popular fiction is not just fiction. It is intermedial. It is also, it's a novel, it's also a movie, it's also a video game. Sometimes it's a t-shirt you will wear. How many of us wore Game of Thrones t-shirts or Harry Potter t-shirts, isn't it? So popular culture is intermedial. I don't even know whether such a word is there, but talking about popular fiction, I can make up my own words, I guess. And also, it travels across boundaries. It is transboundary across nations. Even though Harry Potter is a very British, or Game of Thrones is a very American series or novels, we all love them as if they are our own. There is what is called global popular culture. It is not just one, it is global. Okay, so can I tell you some important theorists and important books? Are you ready for that? You might want to take notes because you can look them up later. John Story, I mentioned, he's a very important figure in popular culture. He wrote about cultural theory, popular culture. Do look him up. Then there is Raymond Williams. Apart from many things that he wrote, there is the essay Culture is Ordinary. There is also Culture and Society, 1958 book. He laid the foundations with these books. Janice Radway wrote Reading the Romance, about how women negotiate with patriarchy through reading romances. There is Henry Jenkins. I don't know if I mentioned him. Very important figure. He talked about television studies. He studied Star Trek and such famous web series and television series. He contributed to fan studies also. I talked about Henry Jenkins. He created a concept called television culture. Television culture. Peter Burke is also a very important theorist of popular culture and popular literature. That applies in popular literature also. Peter Burke, B-U-R-K-E. I think Franco Moretti is another name that you can look up. Franco Moretti. That's a lot, I know, too much. But if you want to write a research paper, you can just read up and use their names, isn't it? And also, if anybody is preparing for entrance exams, after FYUGP, some of you will write CUET-PG entrance. We have coaching for it, but it is not even necessary to take coaching if you do your work properly. So look up these authors. It will become immensely beneficial in your journey as an English literature student. I will come back with more such interesting videos and topics. Until then, bye-bye.